Dahi got the really nice job with the Coillte brief for this. He said he's going to talk about Avondale and all the lovely, fabulous things that are there, and you can talk about data. And I was like, great. So I've had to go and dig deep into Coiltte's records and try to pull out something that's relatively interesting to this group. So I'm going to talk a bit about our strategy around our mountain bike centres. So where Coillte has come from, we have a number of mountain bike centres that are in developed national centres. But to come up with a picture and how we got to establish our national mountain bike centres is back in 2012. None of you will be able to see that, but there was a strategy developed in 2012 that looked at Coiltte's current offering for our mountain biking. We had regional centres that were kind of developed ad hocly a little bit. Some of them we adopted with local clubs. Some of them we worked with a little bit with the local authority or Coillte to develop. But really we were looking at the bigger picture. We needed to establish, we could see that there was a growing trend of people wanting to get out and use Coillte forestry for mountain biking. And we didn't want to ignore the problem that where people were going off and building their own trails. We wanted to engage with local community groups and engage with local mountain bikers and actually develop international, recognised national centres. So what came of it was, from this strategy, we came up with a list of criteria of what would be designated a national centre. How would we decide where a national mountain bike centre would be established? And from that we came up with a number of criteria to sort of score what our current offering was and where we need to identify new places, new opportunities amongst Coiltte's 6,000 properties. So we figured out that we need at least 4 independent waymarked loops for a national mountain bike centre. The site needs to be in excess of 1,500 hectares. So it has to be big enough to handle a variety of different loops established, that they're not too close to each other, that you have a sense of wilderness and a sense of freedom when you're actually on the bike, that you're not constantly seeing other riders and things like that. And it wouldn't have if it was a small site, it wouldn't be a concentrated pressure, that we can spread the pressure out and establish that. So, and over 50% of the trails that we developed have to be designated single tracks. They can't be using, it's not going to be all just using forest road networks, because that's not what the mountain bikers wanted. They wanted to have single track, very same what you get in the European established mountain bike centres. So we took that on board. We also looked at the size, so it had to be, the location had to be capable of promotion on international status. It must be within 3 hours of a ferry. And the reason why we do that is because on an international basis, we want people to come from Europe or from the UK, get off the ferry in Rosslare, in Dublin and Cork, and be able to drive within 3 hours, relatively 3 hours, to get to one of our national mountain bike centres. So that narrowed the search a little bit. Want to make it easily accessible, that people can be a visitor base, that they're located within 20 kilometres of a motorway or a national primary road. And we wanted them to be within 40 kilometres of a big population centre. There is one exception to that. We did allow for Dublin and the region around Dublin to maybe have more than one, because it's got 40% already of the country's population. So we recognised that there needed to be an exception for the Dublin region. But outside of Dublin and sort of the Dublin Mountains area, it had to be within 40 kilometres, and they had to be not too close to each other either. So 90 kilometres from their nearest recreation, or their nearest other centre. So there can't be 2 side by side outside of Galway or something like that. And the reason for that is just to really focus on delivering top end product. Again, Dublin is the exception because we have 2 very close to each other, and I'll show that in a second. So here's our map of Ireland. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. Okay, so listen to some people. So Ballinstow is in Wicklow. That's our closest one to here, and that's one of the ones that we decided is going to be our national bike centre. Ticknock, which is in the Dublin Mountains, just in south. That's one of our busiest sites around the country in terms of recreation already. So it was a great site to work with, and there was already an offering of people using it for mountain biking as it was. Ballyharrow, which is one of our well-established mountain bike centres. Anyone who mountain bikes in Ireland will know Ballyharrow. It is a spectacular location to go to. It's just outside Limerick, and one I'd encourage anyone here who's into biking to go check out. Sleep Blooms and Offaly were mentioned yesterday from Ellie, who was talking about Sleep Blooms, about the Sleep Bloom Way. But we've developed a brand new mountain biking offering, Sleep Blooms and Offaly, with the coordination of the local authorities there. There's 2 local authorities. The mountains cross 2 different regions, so we have to work with two local authorities there, but it works really well, and it's an hour's drive from Dublin on the motorway, and there's spectacular routes out there. And the last one, probably my favourite one because it's my local one, up in northwest in Coillte. It's the best one if you ask me, by far. And Coillte, that's a brand new one as well. It was a site that had no offering, no recreational offering, no, it wasn't even any locals walking there. It was just a big site that we had for forestry, and we just threw everything into it. We said, right, we're going to get a mountain biking centre up here. So that's where we came from, establishing, figuring it out. And out with that strategy and out of our partnerships with the Department of Rural Community Development and Coillte Ireland, we came up with a 13.6 million funding to develop 5 of these mountain bike centres. The rollout of that is going to be, it's ongoing at the moment. We're currently in phase 2, phase 3, where a lot of the trails are developed, but we're now looking at developing the physical buildings and all the associated works with that. So toilet block, buildings for a local shop to rent out and sell stuff from, and a higher building. So you guys hear about data. What's the data show? So I looked at all our visitor counters for these sites over the last few years. I have left in 2021 because it's always nice to have a real spike in the middle. But you'll know our 2020. You know what happened in 2020. We won't have to talk about it. But I looked across all these now. We have visitor data counters at all these sites. They're very, very simple technology. If you don't know how they work, they're just a big bollard with a little laser that sticks out of them. As you go past, it counts 1. If 2 people go past, it counts 2. But if you go past side by side, it still counts 1. So there's always a little skew with the data. But it's quite interesting. So this is all of them together nationally. So you can see in 2019 we have a kind of standard 250,000 visitors across all 5 sites. Spikes in 2020, really spikes in 2021, as all our lockdowns, restrictions are coming out. And now it's kind of leveling off here, and we're quite happy where it is. It's growing nationally. That's not very interesting, so I'm going to keep going now. Yearly usage by mountain bike centre. This looks really good if you're really close, but you guys are so far away, it doesn't really matter. So, Ballyhowrah, one of our visitor sites, one of our popular sites, Sea Blooms in the Midlands. One of our newest sites was established in 2020 and already bigger than Ballyhowrah. Ballyhowrah is our historic site for mountain biking. Coillte, brand new one, still in northwest. A lot of people don't know about it yet, but it's growing. It's very, very small. We have Glendalough here in Wicklow. Again, very popular, very close to an urban centre. Maintains quite a high thing. Dwowra, it's a sad little regional one in Galway. It's a little tiny purple at the bottom there. You probably can't see it at the back, but I just put it in for a regional basis. We're not investing it as a national park, but I wanted to base it. It's still maintained. It kind of maintained the whole way through. No extra people, no more people, but it's a nice thing. And then TikTok. So TikTok is way up there somewhere. So I've had to scale this back down. Come on back out here now. So TikTok is just outside Dublin. So as you can see, we've it's same as everyone else. 2019, 2020, 21, and it's kind of leveling off here. But it shows that through the years, data is interesting how you look at it, and I thought it was quite interesting looking at this. Depending on usage, what day of the week do you think is the best mountain biking day? Friday, Saturday. Oh, it's divided. So across the country, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and up to Sunday. Everyone goes biking on Sunday. So Sunday is very, very popular across all our sites. So each one of these little bars is each for our sites. So it's very, very popular on Sunday. Obviously Saturday, a lot of people out. But it's really nice to see that it maintains. There's a baseline that is maintained every day of the week. So our sites are used every day of the week. And in the yearly trends, this one is going to look terrible to anyone in the back of the room. I apologise. I was told I was getting a massive screen. These are our sites. So that's the winter. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then there's little bumps. The bumps in the middle of the day, essentially. So 1 o'clock on a Wednesday, 1 o'clock on a Thursday, 2 o'clock on a Friday, and then around midday on a Sunday. So that's the winter. That's our winter things. This is summer. Very, very similar. Very, very similar. Our summer numbers and our winter numbers are actually quite similar. And the gap that's made up is actually what we would call the shoulder seasons in the tourism season. The sort of March, April, September, Octobers. That's primarily where most of our visitors come. We get a lot of people in that. In the summer they must go abroad, in the winter they kind of get too cold. But we get an awful lot of bump in the shoulder seasons, which is great from a tourism perspective. And Coillte Ireland in the back of the room are nodding, this is brilliant, this is great, it's great to hear, this is what we want to hear. because we have lots of offerings in Ireland, we love offering in the summer months, but we don't have a lot of offering in the thing. So, seasonal trends, again, here's the very same. So we have Ballyhowra there, seasonal trends. Killarney, which was opened in 2021, you can see kind of was nothing really happening, and then it opened and it went mental. And then sort of seasonal trends. Again, this is very boring for anyone who can't get it, but I just was digging into it because I was told you need to present on data. Here's our summer trends across it. So obviously summer, yeah, it gets busy, but it's still maintained sort of there. There's spikes in July every time. Every time spikes. Well, look at this one, 2022, still maintained high all the way up to December. And then that one again, still maintaining high. So it's really nice to see. We get a big spike in July, but it doesn't stay high for the whole summer every year. The numbers are either side. So the time of year is irrelevant, and what we're seeing is a lot of mountain biking at night time. Mountain bikers love going out in the dark. For anyone who does a mountain bike, that sounds like ridiculous. Cycling around the woods in the dark, crashing the trees, ridiculous. But they absolutely love it. And it's great from our perspective because it keeps our numbers high all the way around. And then one of the other things I looked at in terms of our data, and this is one of my last few slides, I'll move on to the next person, I apologise, is building new trails. Every time we build a new trail and we announce a new trail open, all the data spikes. Every single time. So, we're just looking at Ballyhowra as an example. We have, that's just Ballyhowra over the last few years. But here are our spikes. Open new trail, we announce it. Look at that, boom, up. Open new trail, goes up and stays up for quite a while. We go on to Ballinstow, here in Wicklow. This is when one of the things was broken, by the way. So we didn't kill anyone, or it didn't end up, it kind of looks like we were shooting people, but basically the counter was broken and it took a while to sort it out. But open new trail, spike, open new trail, spike. So every time we announce a new trail, whoa, loads of new people come and check it out. But and if you're really digging the data, I'd like to see if the other trail centres go down, but I wasn't going to dig into that for you guys. It's too much, too geeky. Same with this one. Open new trail, look at this, boom, more people. Open new trail, boom, more people, boom, boom, boom. This one's really interesting though, this is my favourite one of the whole lot. I know, I'm a bit nerdy about this. Where are the new trails on this one? Have a guess. We've got middle of July, middle of 2022, middle of 2023. Kind of look at that one. Right? Here's the new trails. Open new trail, boom, all the way up. Open new trail, what happened?
It's winter.
It's not that it's winter, good answer. We opened a new trail, but the counter was located at the old trail system. The new trail system was way away. So everyone went off to do the new trail system. We had no counter up there, and it looks like no one was there. Okay, so your data is really important in terms of where you use it and how you understand it. It took me ages to figure out why the hell no one wanted to go do our new trails, and it wasn't until I went out there and physically was cycling around going, that's in the wrong place. So knowing where your counters are really helps you understand your data. So what do we do? The data shows the mountain biking is a year-round activity. Sunday middays, obviously spike, people like to go out. Darkness is not a major issue, but further research is definitely needed. And we're really interested, if anyone out there is really nerdy about this stuff, the Met Office provide hourly data on Met weather all over the country. If this could be tied to that and show usage when it's raining, that'd be amazing. There you go. Look, he's going, yeah, I can do that. So benefits, what do we see in terms of benefits to the community? This is my last slide, guys, I swear, I'm moving on. Social and health benefits. We are seeing communities being built. There is a baseline now at every single mountain bike centre, which means people are coming and doing it regularly, and they're doing it in big groups. We don't have a lot of counts of ones on their own. We have counts of 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 10s people. Like, they're going out in groups. So there's social benefits, health benefits. We're seeing a lot of local enterprise. We're seeing a little Johnny with his hot food stand on the side of our centre selling off stuff. We've got people renting out B&Bs. We've got local enterprise. We've got bike hire centres happening. So if you're in Killarney, come on up. This is the top of Killarney in County Sligo. This is the very top of your climb, and you get a beautiful view over the Wild Atlantic Way. Guys, thanks very much. That's been my presentation.